Good evening to all our viewers. Ako po si Celzo and welcome sa ating Math Review number 2. Ang emphasis po natin for today's Math Review ay College Entrance Test, Civil Service Exam, and Let Gen Ed Math and Math Specialty. We will use the Kahoot app for the Math Review today. If you have access to maybe 2 devices, try to join us on Kahoot. There is a game pin, and the game pin is 6451551. It will be great if you can join us both on YouTube Live and Kahoot. We will start at 6:05 rather, for the Kahoot competition. Again, the game pin number is 6451551. If you can't join us on Kahoot, pwede rin po ninyong i-type na lang yung answers sa comment section sa YouTube or sa FB. Usually ang ginagawa ko kapag I use Kahoot in the classroom, I project it on Zoom so students can see the questions as well. Pero dito sa StreamYard, I think you cannot see the questions. So you have to decide whether participate using Kahoot or participate using the live stream on YouTube or Facebook. 2 more minutes. Make sure you guys join Kahoot if you want to join Kahoot. I will switch now to the Kahoot competition. So far, we only have 6 players for Kahoot, and the rest, you guys could type your answers in the comment section. For those playing the Kahoot, you guys are on a blind spot. You won't be able to see the questions and the answers unless you have access to YouTube at the same time, Kahoot. For each question, you have 60 seconds to answer them. Some questions are 90 seconds. After revealing the answer, I will go over the step-by-step solutions for each question. You have 1 more minute to join Kahoot. And even we started, you can still join Kahoot once we started. "30 seconds, and then we're going to start with the first question on Kahoot. Again, type your answers in the comment section if you are not on Kahoot. All right, it's 6:05, and here's our first question. What can be said about these 2 angles, angle A and angle B? A, they're supplementary. B, they're complementary. C, they're adjacent. And letter D, they are vertical angles. Type your answers in the comment section. Thank you, Dina Solis, for watching from Manawag, Pangasinan. All right. The answer is it should be letter C. They are adjacent angles. Supplementary means the angles add up to 180, and complementary means the angles add up to 90 degrees. So the two angles are adjacent. They're not vertical angles. Vertical angles are formed when the two lines are intersecting. All right, let's see. So far, Gerald got 932 points, Elmer 903, and Margel 778. So these are our top 5 scorers. Here's our question number 2. What is the center of the circle formed by the following equation? The quantity x minus 2 square plus y plus 1 square is equal to 4. A, 2, negative 1, B, 2, 4, C, 2, 2, and Z, negative 2, 1. Thank you for watching, Richie, Aldrin Lopez, Gio Park, Ahmed. What is the center of the circle in the equation x minus 3 square plus y plus 1 square is equal to 4? Type your answers. The answer is 2, negative 1, which is letter A. All right, I'm going to switch to the detailed explanation to that problem. And all right, so in that equation, this is what we call the center radius form of a circle. And the center radius form of a circle is x minus h square plus y minus k square is equal to r square. So in this equation, this means that h is positive 2, k is negative 1. So that's why the center for this problem is 2, negative 1. So 2, negative 1 is the center for this circle in the center radius form. All right, let's move on to question number 3. Let's see who's the top 3 right now. So Margel is on first place, Mumu is on second place, and Zita is third place. So this is our ranking right now. Here's our question number 3. Solving equations. Solve the equation 8x minus the quantity 2x plus 3 is equal to 4x plus 1. F, negative 1/3, G, negative 1, H, positive 2, and J, positive 4. Thank you for watching. Good evening, Rosh San Diego, Richie Asingayan. Thank you for watching. Again, type your answers in the comment section if you're not on Kahoot. Time is up. All right, only one got the right answer. Letter G, let's see if that is the correct answer using the solutions that I prepared for you guys. So I'm gonna switch to the other screen. All right, so in solving this equation, we need to do distributive property. We distribute first the negative, so we can take out the parentheses. So that becomes 8x minus 2x, and then you have minus 3 also because you're distributing the negative. And then we need to isolate the variable x on one side of the equation. So we need to subtract 4x to both sides and add 3 to both sides of the equation. And when you do that, the equation now becomes 2x is equal to 4, and then you're dividing by 2. So the answer should be 2. So it should be letter H. X is 2. So you're right, Zena, Richie, Aldrin, that is correct. H is equal to 2. So again, you need to take out first the parentheses by distributing the negative, and then you combine like terms and isolate the variables on one side and solve for x by itself. Question number 4. Here's our question number 4 about Pythagorean theorem, geometry. Two buses leave the same station at 8 p.m. One bus travels north at the rate of 30 kilometers per hour, and the other travels east at 40 kilometers per hour. How many kilometers apart are the buses at 10 p.m.? A, 50 kilometers, B, 70 kilometers, C, 100, and D, 140 kilometers. "15 seconds, type your answers when you're ready. The answer is letter C, 100 kilometers. So for this problem, the bus travels for 2 hours. One is traveling at 30 kilometers per hour. So that means that in 2 hours, the distance will be 60 kilometers. On the other hand, the one that travels east, it's 40 kilometers per hour. So in 2 hours, that's 40 times 2. That means the distance will be 80 kilometers. And the question is, how many kilometers apart are the buses at 10 p.m.? So using the Pythagorean theorem, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. C is the hypotenuse, and A and B are the two sides, 60 and 80, which are the legs of a right triangle. So 60 square, 6 square is of course 36. So you will have 60 square is equal to 3600 plus 6400. And adding up 3600 and 6400 that's equal to 10,000. And you can easily get the square root of that because you have the zeros. There's 4 zeros. So the square root of 10,000 is 100 kilometers. Also, if you're familiar with the Pythagorean triple, 3, 4, 5 are the sides of a right triangle. So if you double that, that's 6, 8, and 10. And then multiplying them by 10, that will be 60, 80, and 100 kilometers. Okay? So the answer for this question is 100 kilometers. The buses will be 100 kilometers apart after 2 hours. traveling from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Here's our next question. First place right now is Margel with 1843, Eric 1740, and Elmer went up with 1,479 points. Here's our next question. Inequalities. Which inequality represents all the values of x for y is less than or equal to -6 times the quantity x minus 18 minus 2 when y is equal to 46? A, x is less than or equal to 10. B, x is greater than or equal to -11. C, x is less than or equal to -11. And letter D, x is greater than or equal to 10. $30. What can be said about The answer is letter A. X is less than or equal to 10. All right, I will show the step-by-step solution to this question. So the first thing that we need to do for this question is substitute 46 into the variable y. So we have 46 is less than or equal to, and then we can distribute the -6. So -6x, -6 times -18 is 108, and then we have -2. Simplifying this further, we will have 46 is less than or equal to -6x plus 106. And then we can subtract 106 to both sides of the inequality. So we will get 6x is less than or equal to 60, or that's the same thing as -60 is less than or equal to -6x. And finally, you need to divide both sides by 6. So x is less than or equal to 10. Okay. Here's our next question. Eric is now on first place with 2,431 points. Your score is based on your speed and accuracy. Here's our next question. The pin is 6451551 for those who are still joining. Question on quadratics. Find the solutions to the quadratic equation x squared plus x minus 20. Type your answers in the comment section. 10 seconds. All right, the answer is 4, -5. So in solving this question, you need to factor out first this quadratic equation. And when you're factoring out x squared plus x minus 20, you need to look for factors of -20, meaning two numbers that multiplies to -20, and you will get a sum of 1, the b value. So you will be using +5 and -4, and these are the factors, and you're solving for x. So you put x plus 5 is equal to 0, x minus 4 is equal to 0, then that gives you the x value of -5 and +4. Okay, so that's how you solve quadratic equations. Here's our next question. So Eric is still in the first place, followed by Elmer and Margel, third place. Here's our next question. Find the area. Geometry. So find the area of the complex figure. It's a combination of a rectangle and a triangle. For each question, you guys have 60 seconds. A, 132, B, 108, letter C, 22, and letter D, 36 centimeters square. $15 seconds. Type your answers now. All right, the answer is letter A, 132 centimeters square. So in solving for the area of this figure, we need to solve for the area of both triangle and the rectangle. So let's take a look at the shape right now. So in this shape, to find the area of the rectangle, we need to use the measurements 12 centimeters and 9 centimeters. And these are the lengths of the rectangle. So 12 times 9 is 108. And for the triangle, we need to use base times height divided by 2. So for the triangle, the base is 12 centimeters and the height is 4. So 12 times 4 is 48 divided by 2, that's 24. And then we can add it to the 108. So the area of this complex figure is 132 centimeters square. Again, the area of a rectangle is just base times height or length times the width. And for the triangle, you need to use the formula base times height divided by 2. And then just add them together. So the answer is 132 centimeters square. Here's our next question. All right, so Mumu went up to third place now. Eric and Elmer still on the first and second place respectively. Here's our next question. What is the circumference of this circle? The diameter is 18 inches. This is a 30-second question. Key in your answers. You have 3 seconds. I know sometimes when you're doing live stream like this, it's delayed for 10 to 15 seconds, and it's difficult with the 30-second question. So I think most of our players were not able to answer the question. But in solving for the circumference of a circle, you're simply multiplying the diameter times the pi value. So the diameter for that circle is 18. So the circumference is simply 18 pi inches, or you multiply 18 by 3.14. Again, circumference of a circle is just pi times the diameter. So the answer is 18 pi. Your answer is correct, Richie, Aldrin. Yeah, the answer is letter C. Here's our next question, question number 9. Margel, you're now on the second spot. Here's our next question, question number 9. Find the measure of the inscribed angle shown below. A, 70 degrees, B, 110 degrees, C, 180, and letter D, 90 degrees. Thank you for joining us tonight. You have 15 seconds. -20. All right, the answer to that question is letter D, 90 degrees. When we say inscribed angle, this is an angle formed by two chords intersecting on the circle. So I'll show you the diagram for this. So angle J here is an inscribed angle formed by chords JZ and JX. So to find the measurement of an inscribed angle, you need to get one half the measurement of its intercepted arc. In this case, it's one half the measurement of arc XZ or XYZ. So we need to get the half of the sum of 70 and 110. So first, you need to add 70 and 110, which is 180, and then you get half of it. So it's 90 degrees. Again, inscribed angles can be solved by getting half of its intercepted arc. Okay, the inscribed angle is one half its intercepted arc. Here's our next question. Thank you sa ating mga viewers on Facebook and YouTube. Here's our next question. All right, so Eric's first place, Margel second place, and Mumu third place. Here's our question number 10. Find the factors of x squared minus 14x plus 45. Find the factors of x squared minus 14x plus 45. A, x plus 9 times x minus 5. B, x plus 5 times x plus 9. C, x plus 9 times x plus 5. And letter D, x minus 5 times x minus 9. 30 seconds. Thank you for watching, Richie, Roj, Aldrin, and Son. So the answer is x minus 5 and x minus 9. The best method to factor this, again, is find the factors of 45, meaning two numbers that multiplies to 45, the C value, and adds up to negative 14, the B value. So we need to use negative 5 times negative 9, because negative 5 times negative 9 is positive 45. And when you add negative 5 and negative 9, that will give you the middle term, negative 14. So the answer is x minus 5 and x minus 9. Let's see who's on our lead. Momo is now in the first place with 3,434 points, followed by Eric with 3,100 and Margel 2,700. Okay, here's our top 5. Top 4 is Elmer, and top 5 is Zida. Congratulations for our top 5. Here's our 11th question. Evaluating equations. What is the value of 4k plus 6 times the quantity j minus 2 when k is equal to 3 and j is equal to 5? A, 26, B, 40, C, 30, and D, 108. Fifteen seconds. All right, the answer is 30, letter C. All right, I will show you the step-by-step solution to this question. All we need to do here is substitute the values of the variable, and we're going to evaluate the expression using the order of operations. So here our k value is 3 and j is 5, so we will plug in those two values. So we will have 4 times 3 plus 6 times the quantity, j is 5, so we have 5 minus 2. And using the order of operations, we need to simplify first the parentheses 5 minus 2, which is 3. So we have 4 times 3 plus 6 times 3. Make sure you're using the PEMDAS rule. So of course, 4 times 3 is 12, and 6 times 3 is 18. So that gives us 30. So 30 is the answer to this expression when you plug in k is 3 and j is 5. Okay, so here's our next question. Momo, you're still in the first place. Eric, second. Dita, you went up to fourth place. All right, here's our next question. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through 1, -1 and is parallel to the line described by y is equal to 2x minus 4. A, y is equal to 2x minus 1. B, y is equal to 2x plus 1. C, y equals -1/2 x minus 3. And letter D, y is equal to 2x minus 3. You still have 45 seconds. Fifteen seconds. Type your answers. All right. Time's up. The answer is y is equal to 2x minus 3. So here's the detailed explanation for this question. When you're writing equations when you're writing the equation of a line, you need two things. You need the slope and you also need the y-intercept. So in this problem, it says that the line is parallel to the line y is equal to 2x minus 4. This means that the slope is the same thing as the slope of the line y equals 2x minus 4. So we will be using the slope is positive 2 and the point 1, negative 1. So using the slope-intercept form y is equal to mx plus b, we can write the equation now y is equal to 2x plus b. And then we will substitute y is negative 1 and x is positive 1. So substituting those x values and x value and y value, you will get the y-intercept of negative 3. So that is why the answer to the equation is y is equal to 2x minus 3. The slope is 2, just like with the given line, and the y-intercept is negative 3. So the equation of the line is y is equal to 2x minus 3. Again, there's always two things that you need in writing the equation of a line. You need the slope, m, and the y-intercept, b. And then just put them together. Okay. So here's our next question. But before that, here's our ranking. Zita went up to second place. You're on fire. First place, Mumo with 4,100. Zita 3,400, and Eric with 3,100 points. Here's our next question. Question number 13. Calculate the volume of the cylinder given a radius of 3 and a height of 2. A, 18 pi, B, 20 pi, C, 19 pi, and letter D, 21 pi in cubic centimeters. Thank you for watching, Rosh, Kami, Richie, Marlene. Good evening from Manawag, Pangasinan. Thank you for watching. Aldrin, Sensi, Zina Solis. Thank you for watching. Five seconds, type your answers. All right, the answer is 18 pi. So for geometry, it's really important that you know the formulas. In this question, you were asked to find the volume of a cylinder. So make sure you know how to calculate for the volume of the cylinder. The volume for the cylinder is pi r squared times the height. Again, volume is pi r squared times the height. So all you need to do is plug in the radius and the height to this equation. And the radius is 3 and the height is 2. So of course, 3 squared is 9, 9 times 2, then you get 18. So the volume for this cylinder is 18 pi cubic centimeters. So make sure you memorize the formula for the volume of the cylinder. Again, the formula for the volume of the cylinder is pi r squared times the height. Again, that is pi r squared h. All right, here's our ranking. Zita, you're now our first placer. And second place, Mumo, third, Eric, fourth, Margel, and fifth, Gerald. Here's our question number 14. Another geometry question. Find the surface area of this rectangular prism with dimensions 12 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 6 centimeters. A, 168, B, 200, C, 288, and Z, 240 centimeters square. 10 seconds. Type your answers. All right. There's only one who got it right. Make sure you don't confuse yourself in calculating surface area with the volume of a rectangular prism. When you're calculating for the volume of a rectangular prism, it's simply volume is equal to length times width times the height. But for this question, it's asking you to calculate for the surface area of a rectangular prism, which means you need to find the area of each of the face, and then there's 6 faces, of course, and then you need to add them all up. But in this rectangular box, the top and bottom have the same area, front and back are the same, left and right also have the same area. So another way of doing this is by using the formula. Surface area is the same thing as 2LW, because of course length times width, the bottom and the top are the same, so that's why twice the length times the width. We also have twice the length times the height and twice the width times the height. So in this shape, the base has a length of 12 and a width of 4, and the height of the box is 6 centimeters. So all you need to do is plug it into the surface area formula, if you prefer to use the formula, and adding up 96, 144, and 48, that will give you a surface area of 288 centimeters square. Again, volume can be solved using length times width times the height, but for the surface area, you need to use 2LW plus 2LH plus 2WH, or you get the area of each face, and then you need to add the areas of the 6 sides. Okay, so that's another formula that you need to remember when doing geometry questions on your LET exam or college entrance test. Here's our next question. Ahmed, you're now on 5th place. Congratulations, you moved up. Here's our next question. Question number 15. Solve the following proportion. 8 over x minus 2 is equal to x plus 4 over 2. A, 2 and negative 4. B, 4 and negative 6. C, negative 4 and 6. And Z, negative 4. You have 30 seconds. Fifteen seconds, type your answers. All right, the answer is 4 and negative 6. Here's the detailed solution to this question. Just a tip, when you're doing ratio and proportion or solving proportions like that, you need to use, the easiest method is by using cross products. So you multiply diagonally. So this means you need to multiply 8 times 2, and then x minus 2 and x plus 4. So when you multiply that, you will have 16 is equal to x minus 2 times x plus 4. Be careful when you find the product of x minus 2 and x plus 4. You need to do distributive property. So that will give you x squared plus 4x minus 2x minus 8, because you need to distribute the x and then negative 2 into the second parentheses. And that's the same thing now as x squared plus 2x minus 24 in standard form of a quadratic equation. And again, you can factor it. You need to find factors of negative 24 that will give you a sum of positive 2. So what are those two numbers that multiplies to negative 24 and adds up to 2? So we will be using positive 6 and negative 4. So the values of x are x equals negative 6 and x equal to 4 by using the zero product property. Again, in solving proportions like this, you need to use the cross multiplication. And then if you came up with a quadratic, then you can either use factoring, quadratic formula, taking the square roots, completing the square. If it's linear, then it's a lot easier. Okay, so that's how you solve for a proportion. Just cross product and then solve for the x value. All right, next question. But before that, here's our ranking. Margel went up to 3rd place. Zidat and Mumo still on the 1st and 2nd spot. Here's our next question, question number 16. Simplify the rational expression x squared minus 16 over x squared minus x minus 12. You have 90 seconds to do this because that's more difficult to factor. Thirty seconds, type your answers. Five seconds. All right, the answer is letter A. So in simplifying this rational expression, we need to make sure you know how to factor out expressions. So I'll show you the step-by-step work. So the first one is the x squared minus 16. For the x squared minus 16, this is what we call a difference of perfect squares. Just like if you factor out a squared minus b squared, the numerator can be factored out as x plus 4 and x minus 4. X squared is a perfect square. 16 is also a perfect square. So again, that's what we call difference of perfect squares. So you can factor it as x plus 4 and x minus 4. What about for denominator? X squared minus x minus 12. Just like I think with the previous question, you need to find factors of negative 12. That will give you a sum of negative 1. So again, two numbers that multiplies to negative 12, and adds up to negative 1. So you should be using negative 4 and positive 3. So you can cancel out the x minus 4 in your numerator and denominator. So that's why the answer is x plus 4 over x plus 3. Yeah, doing Kahoot is difficult on StreamYard because, of course, this is 10 to 15 seconds delay. So it's more difficult to do it on live stream. Here's our next question. The ranking remained the same. And here's our question number 17. Simplify the radical expression square root of 2 times square root of 12 minus the square root of 3. A, 3 square root of 16, 3 root 6, 4 root 6, C, 3 root 2, and letter D, root 6. "30 seconds. Seconds. Type your answers now. All right, the answer is letter D, square root of 6. When you're simplifying that expression, make sure you know how to simplify radical expressions, but also doing distributive property. So in that question, the first step that you need to do is distribute the square root of 2 into the terms inside the parentheses. So that means you need to do square root of 2 times square root of 12. You simply multiply 2 and 12, which is 24, and 2 times 3, which is 6. So now you have square root of 24 minus square root of 6. But here, you need to simplify further the 24. When simplifying square root of 24, make sure you identify the largest perfect square that can go with 24. So that means you can use 4 times 6, that gives you 24. I use 4 times 6 because square root of 4 is 2. So the first can be rewritten as 2 square root of 6, and that means there's an invisible negative 1 before the second term. So when you're adding or subtracting the numbers 2 and 1, you simply subtract them, and then you're keeping the square root of 6 or the radicand. Okay, so the answer to this question is 1 root 6, or simply square root of 6. So again, make sure you do distributive property first, and then you simplify each expression using perfect squares. All right, here's your next question. Let's see first the ranking. Eric went up to 3rd place. Zidat and Mumu first and second place respectively. Here's our question number 18. Solve the radical equation x minus 1 to the 1/3 is equal to 2. A, x equals negative 6. B, x equals 6. C, x equals 3. And D, x equals negative 3. 3x minus 1 to the power of 1/3 is equal to 2. All right. The answer is letter B. All right, here's the detailed explanation. So in this problem, the equation has an exponent of 1/3, meaning cube roots. So the inverse separation for cube root is to the 3rd power. So we need to raise each side of the equation to the 3rd power. So left side becomes 3x minus 1, and the right side becomes 8. because you need to do 2 times 2 times 2. So you have 3x minus 1 is equal to 8. And then you're simply adding 1 to both sides and then dividing by 3. So your x value is 3. Okay? So you need to do the inverse operations. If it's square root, you need to do second power. If it's cube root, that means you need to do third power. Here's our next question. Dita, you're still in the first place. Question number 19, our last two questions. Use special right triangles to determine the value of x and y. Five seconds, type your answers. When you're doing special right triangles, like 30, 60, 90 triangle, or a 45, 45, 90 triangle, there's some shortcut that you need to remember. So in this right triangle, we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So here, 8 is the hypotenuse, x is the short leg, that's the side across or opposite of 30, and y is the longer leg, which is across the 60-degree angle. So to find the short leg, you're simply getting half the hypotenuse, because hypotenuse is twice the short leg. So the reverse, you're simply getting half the hypotenuse. So half of 8 is 4. So the x value is 4. And to find the longer leg y, you're simply multiplying the short leg by square root of 3. So again, x is 4. And to calculate for the y, you simply multiply that short leg 4 by square root of 3. So x is 4 and y is 4 square root of 3. And here's our last question for tonight. But before that, here's our ranking before the final question. Ahmed, you're now in the 4th place, Margel 5th place, Eric 3rd, Mumu 2nd, and Zita 1st place. Here's our last question. Which one of the following is a correct Pythagorean identity? This is a trigonometry question. Five seconds, type your answers. All right, before the answer is letter A, before we reveal the top 5 scorers, here's the explanation for this. But make sure here you need to memorize the identities for trigonometric identities. And the first one is sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is equal to 1. And tangent squared theta plus 1 is equal to secant squared theta. And 1 plus cotangent squared theta is equal to cosecant squared theta. So these are the three Pythagorean identities. And then make sure you know how to solve or how to rewrite these equations. So if I will make it sine squared theta is equal to, that means you need to transfer cosine squared to the right side. So it's the same thing as sine squared theta is equal to 1 minus cosine squared. So make sure you know how to manipulate an equation similar to this. Okay, so again, it's really important that you memorize those three Pythagorean identities. The question is, sir, meron po bang next session sa Kahoot? I'm still finalizing the schedule para sa math review and teaching and learning webinars as well. I'm inviting some guests from the US, particularly California, Florida, and New York friends. So they will participate sa ating webinars in the future. So this Saturday, we still have the teacher and learning webinar, Q&A with Gani Celzo, and we have two guests, two from California, one chemistry teacher and one math teacher. They're both teaching at Los Angeles Unified School District. So here's our final ranking. Third place, Margel. Congratulations. Second place, Mumu. And first place is Zidat. Congratulations. I understand it's really difficult to join Kahoot dahil delay ng 10 to 15 seconds, and of course the internet issues, right? Explanation and the step-by-step solutions ng questions will be posted on Google Classroom. So if you're interested, please join the Google Classroom. Ito yung class code. Paki-copy na lang yung class code so you can join the Google Classroom for the math review. Available lang siya for 200 students. There's a suggestion from Kami. I have a suggestion. Can you stream Minecraft after you're done with math? I'm still finalizing some of the topics that we will be presenting soon. Again, this Saturday, we have Q&A with Ganis also at 3 to 4 p.m. this Saturday. We have guest chemistry teacher Joy Apostol from California, and Maricel also from California, middle school math teacher. So again, if you're interested to get a copy of the slideshow for tonight and the materials, join the Google Classroom. I will be posting this tonight. And if you have other questions, please email me at celzoacademy@gmail.com. Okay? Thank you so much sa ating mga viewers, and thank you for participating. One last thing, I'm also planning to have a online math competition soon with prizes. So this is just a practice. I'm still finalizing the logistics of the math competition, but this will be open for everyone. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. It's already past 6. Have a great night, everyone, and see you soon.